Please, please, please don't go up in flames. So I want to say there are 3 more main things to get this thing actually roadworthy. And I'm not talking about the roll cage or lights or anything like that. I'm talking about steering, brakes, and shifting this thing. So the number 1 problem I want to point out is shifting this thing. We've done a whole bunch of work to the front, and on these RADCHARGERs, it's actually a mechanical linkage, but it's all in the way. It mounts to the frame and it mounts to the transmission. Let me show you, come here. This is where it shifts from. It pushes this rod down along inside the frame here, and it hooks up to this linkage. This end is supposed to be bolted to the frame. The biggest problem I have right now is that when this thing comes up, this link comes right in line with that, and it's in the way. We can't have it be in the way. So we have to come up with another solution. I was looking online, and there used to be a company that made a cable shift conversion, but they don't exist anymore, and I can't find them for sale anywhere. So I want to make one. So back when I was building my derby car in April, we ended up using a Mopar big block, and this is a Mopar small block, but the bell housings are almost the same. They have the same mounting points on the side. So I learned that the early 90s Jeep Grand Cherokees, if it was the V8, it actually has a similar bell housing to these Mopars, and they have a cable shifter, and they have the bracket, and they have the linkage, and they have everything right there to convert this thing to a cable shifter. Now we just have to find a junk one, and luckily I think I know where one's at. Number 2 is my steering arm. We have to make a new one to be compatible with this and throw a little further. Number 3 is brake lines. We got to stop this thing, so we'll be putting those on today as well. So luckily we found the right year of Grand Cherokee. That seems to only have the part that we need. Let's look, take a look. All right, so the piece that I'm talking about is this bracket right here. So we need to pull the brackets off of the transmission that actually attach the arm down there. And we need to pull this half of the shifter out. Shouldn't be too difficult, so let's get to it. Conveniently, there's no motor in here. Totally not planned. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to use a different setup to get this out. All right, so when we pull this, I learned last time that we have to pull the arm off the transmission side too, because the end of the shift cable is matches that ball. So I'm sure we could switch it out, but it's just easier to switch the arm. So now we need to do the nasty part of going inside and pulling the cable from there. Ow! Whew! That got me good. That's a thistle, don't touch this. All right, broken glass everywhere. Oh, okay, not pulling that off today. Okay. And there it is. Not much to it. All right. That's all we needed. Let's go. I realize how much that solves for me. Ow! I have the 2 different linkages here. This is the one that came off the RADCHARGER. This is the one that we went and got. You notice they are not the same. That's okay. The part that is important though is the bracket on the cable that actually bolts to the transmission. These need modifying. So there's a kickdown linkage that goes down to the top of where this shaft is. And on the Grand Cherokees, they're different than on these. And so that's why these arms are different. One's elevated, one's not. We can either modify the Grand Cherokee's shift linkage or we can modify the RADCHARGERs. But either way, we need that little ball off of the Grand Cherokee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the top of this and weld it to the end of this one. And that'll give us our proper clearances and stuff like that. Perfect. There is another bracket in the way, and this kind of shows you exactly what I'm talking about. There's a tab here that comes off the transmission, and then there's a bolt hole down here, and that's where the Grand Cherokee cable shifter bolts in. So this is what locates it, and that should be the correct distance for this. All right, so we got everything out and started putting the new stuff back in. It's time to put the cable in, and I think I'm gonna keep the heat shield on it. That's kind of important since it's running right by the exhaust, but cool. Let's, hopefully this goes well. Certainly didn't need a very long cable, did we? I guess I was wrong about the big block and the small block thing, because they are not compatible. I just want to say that we didn't make it work on the derby car like this. It just bolted in. It was meant to be. So somewhere, something is different between the small block and the big block torque flight transmissions. We're gonna have to like totally customize it.
Just like literally everything else?
Yeah. Just like everything else. That's okay. I don't know why I do this to myself. So we're back to the original bracket that was on this transmission. This is the one we pulled off the Jeep, not a Cherokee, it's a Grand Cherokee. But we need that little like retainer clip ring so that this cable can snap in properly. The thing is they didn't really build any adjustability into this cable setup. So I want to build a little bit in case anything moves at all. So I'm gonna build it into this lower bracket, but it just so happens that this retaining ring but needs to be right on the edge of that. So we can cut off this one and weld it onto that one. Sounds like a game plan.
Yep.
Yep. Let's harvest this. That's how our new bracket is looking. We'll get it kind of bolted up. See how close we are. Fingers crossed. Okay, here's one end, okay? Not quite bottomed out. There's a little gap there. That's perfect. When I pull this, it should shift. There's, okay, reverse, neutral, third, second, first. Yeah, that was it. May need to angle this bracket a little bit more. But overall, the bracket's not really moving in there. I could pull more if it had another click, but it doesn't. That is good. You can see it up in there. You can see this bracket tweaking or moving a little bit. That's because I haven't tightened it down at all yet. So we'll fix that, and we'll connect it down to this other hole down there. All right, we got it in. I'm really happy with that lower mount. We just have a little bit more supports for it and actually like tighten it down and stuff. But then tomorrow we deal with the issue of the top half. That I feel like is going to be a little bit trickier, even though tonight was supposed to go really easy, and it went easy enough. So can't really complain. Anyway, so we'll see you in the morning. Okay, so we have the lower end of the shifter cable in. We need to work on the upper now. So the shift lever comes kind of close to this. That's fine. It's not really in the way. But this is the end of the shift cable. So when I go like this, it shifts. And we need to attach it to that hole right there. So I looked around a little bit. I couldn't find anything offhand that we could use right away. So I'm just gonna go cut something out of the plasma cutter. That will mount to this pipe here and hold this so that we can use it to shift up to that. All right, this is the clip that I made to catch the other side of this cable here. Dirt, sand in my eye. Anyway, so it just goes on the end here. We can just put it on and then it should just snap to, just like that. And then this eyelet end goes up to this lever. So we need to weld this to right here. Yeah, we'll tack it on first, and then we'll run through and see if it shifts in the proper locations and all that. Apparently I have to grind a lot more off. All right, I've got it thinned up a little bit, so hopefully it works better. Okay. let's try this again. We'll let it cool down so it doesn't melt anything. And then we'll hook it up and see what it does. Okay. Should be able to go ahead and shift up. Go back to park. I don't know what that is.
That's reverse right there.
Okay, neutral. Drive. Does it feel good?
That honestly feels like really good. Like really smooth. It clicks in where it needs to do.
That's good. That makes me happy. All right, so we got the shifter functioning sort of how it should. We just got to run to the parts store and grab a couple pieces to finish it. And then next, I think, is the brake. That's our second problem for today. And Janelle knows more about that than I do. So what's going on with the brakes?
So in the front, we have to redo the brake lines from the master cylinder down to these. These are 2008 Super Duty brake lines, same as the axles. And then in the rear, we have to redo the hard brake lines on the axle too. Rudy's finishing some stuff up front still, so I went ahead and started on the rear brake lines. We ran to the store and we got these two new hard brake lines and went ahead and kind of fitted them a little bit just to see what we need to do. This one, just bent it in there. It's a little longer than we thought it would be, so I'm gonna cut and reflange this one just so it's not quite a yucky angle as that one. And then this longer one coming up to the passenger side should be fine. I don't know. I'll bend it a little bit more and see if I need to flange that one too. And then we'll start from there.
It is time to work on the steering arm for this thing. Factory one is a 5-inch from center to center. The new one that I have designed and cut out is a 6-inch, so the 6-inch throw. So it pushes, I don't know how much it pushes, but it pushes enough. I know that. I know with the turning of this box, it'll push those tires almost to lock, or I think to lock, and then it will push the tires the other way, almost to lock as well. Right in the oily mess. Anyway, so in order to get this to work properly, I need the splines that are in this, because they are what keys onto the steering box right here. So we'll have to cut this down a little bit and start welding it in there. I will say, even though I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but just because you see me do this doesn't mean that you should. I don't endorse anyone making their own pitman arm because I did it. So just word of caution, like, you know, don't be dumb. So.
Like you, I guess.
Yeah. What I am gonna do to help make this stronger, if any of my welds ever failed or broke or anything like that on this, is I'm going to cut this down and I'm going to notch this out so that that actually keys in perfectly. So even if my welds did break, it would still be keyed in a way that I would be able to steer. Hopefully it never comes to that. I don't think it will, but just to help strengthen it. And that goes like that. I still need to cut this off. I like it. Something like that. I'm a fan. Look at this tacked in there. Pretty happy about it, actually. This is where things get interesting. So, put this up here, bottom one, it actually needs to bend. All right, this is how it's going. Just like so. What? I can see you are concerned.
It looks...
Interesting.
Yeah?
Good, that's what I'm going for.
It doesn't look very strong.
It's not finished yet. Think of this as the skeleton, which is supposed to be the strong part that holds things together. But skeleton is nothing without the ligaments. We have to build the ligaments.
Skeleton is its own thing.
So this is
Muscles are nothing without ligaments.
Exactly. We haven't built those yet either. Does that look better or worse? Not good.
I think it looks better because now at least these two are, it's all like one.
Okay, we should probably weld that in right there then. It's beautiful.
It's a beefy steering arm.
Yes. All right, so tomorrow when I come in, I'll give this thing a heart and add some structure.
So then it has bones, ligaments, muscles, and a heart. That's funny.
Well, yeah. This is the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. All right, tomorrow when we come in, we'll get this thing, like give this some real structure and gussets and actually weld it together. Because right now it's kind of pretty basic. But other than that, it's not bad. Is it bad?
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. All right, so I left you last night with this steering arm kind of tacked together. Today we need to finish it and get it fully gusseted, fully welded. So hopefully we won't have any problems with doing that today. So to start, I just want to make a piece that kind of wraps around the end of it here and then comes around the back side, and then we can terminate it there. So I have some 2-inch strap here, and it's just going to fit perfectly right there, and I'll be able to wrap it all the way around this thing and then stop before it gets in my way. Yeah, we'll just tack it on and we'll work it around. All right, now it's time to get it welded up. Gosh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. We also have a major issue. I keep smelling it, and it's my fuel pump. It's just garbage. It's leaking out of the housing. It's not supposed to be doing that, so I got another one on the way, but we won't be driving it until it gets here. Whoa! Oh my gosh. Wow, this is great. I'll be right back. Let me just go over what happened. So essentially, I'm not very smart. I'm putting this fire completely on me. It's totally my fault. I needed to do a little bit more welding on the truss back here and on some of the links and whatnot. But we accidentally sprayed some fuel on the floor earlier, and I knew it was there. I didn't really care. Then I had Janelle point the fan on me, and as soon as there was air moving and sparks, it lit up. So it makes sense, you know. Could have been a lot worse. Yeah, just toss that sucker right over it. Woo! So a couple weeks ago, someone, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but he stopped by and he dropped off a fire blanket, and we used that, and if we didn't have that, it would have been a lot worse. I'm gonna definitely get more of those. But this little pit here gathers oil and fuel and just really flammable things. And so it doesn't surprise me that that caught on fire, but...
And you were welding right on top of it.
I was. There was an actual puddle of fuel under there. Please, please, please don't go up in flames. But, you know, we're all good. It's all good. We're chilling. We're gonna get back to non-welding or grinding or spark-related things on the RADCHARGER. Stay safe.
Stay safe, guys, and don't be like Rudy and weld over fire. Not a good idea.
We have big things happening today. I'm super excited to show you them, but first I just want to say we tore it all apart. It was no good. No, I'm just kidding. Janelle decided that she wanted to paint it all, so she got it torn apart last night and put a coat of paint on. I've started reassembling it, hence the new hubs. The last ones were totally shot. But she got the rear all taped up still, but it's looking good. She's doing a good job with that. But that's not the big news that I'm talking about. Look at this. This thing is beautiful. It's massive too. So we got these drive shafts from Adam's Drive Shaft. I gave him a call and I'm like, hey, you guys make things. I need things. And we worked something out. This is the rear one. I have the front one. I couldn't wait. It's dangling off the front. Sorry about that. But I am super stoked to have these things. I didn't tell them that I wanted like giant drive shafts, but they made giant drive shafts. Also, I'm probably gonna say drive line a couple times today. You know what I mean. Drive shaft, drive line. Yeah, so now that we have this, we can get the rear axle totally done. We have the front axle totally done. I just have to weld up the links, and I think I'm gonna pull the TIG welder out and try to use that and take those together. So I've been waiting for the drive shaft so that I know where I can put my exhaust, where I can put limiting straps, and now it's here. So I think we're gonna get this driving tomorrow. Look at that. It's massive. Look at the size of my hand compared to it. It's the size of my hand. It's gonna be a shame when I twist one of these up. Shoot. All right, so I did mention that we pulled everything apart to paint it. The only thing we didn't paint was the links. Instead, we polished them. What do you think? Too much? We'll see if they rust. I'm in love. These look so good. We gotta replace this bolt. But limiting straps, tires on, tie rod, all that beautiful stuff. And it's looking beautiful. We got a lot of tightening to do. All right, there she is.
That looks pretty sweet. It matches the springs.
Yeah, it does.
It gives it kind of like a classy rustic vibe.
If it starts rusting, it definitely will. We got the front end all tightened up, put together. The last thing to hook up is brakes, right?
Right.
So Janelle's gonna finish those now. What are you doing, I guess?
So all that's left for the brakes, like literally all that's left, is putting in these tabs for the soft lines up front. Everything else, like I said, is done. We have the hard lines up here. This one's fed through here. It's pretty much the same on the other side. So we're just gonna have these hook up there, and then we'll have these tabs holding these so they're out of the way from the springs. And that's it.
And chunky. That's okay. Yeah, that's way better. Okay, let's do it on the other side.
Hey, don't judge my welds too much.
You're doing fine.
I haven't welded in a very long time. And then we have this key that just slides right underneath that top. Right like that. And then it just holds that brake line in there, so that's not going anywhere.
And then I think we can bleed the brakes and we're done with the brake system.
Yeah, one step closer to driving.
Yeah. The new fuel pump has arrived. I went with Quantum Fuel Systems fuel pump. It had really good reviews, and I definitely don't want any mishaps with that. It's pretty important that it functions. Just putting it together right here. So right now we have the axle rolled about 8 degrees too far forward. And the reason we can't go any further is because that U-joint starts binding. So with these coilovers, they're not really designed to be bottomed out on hard, and if we jump it or anything like that, there's a chance they could just come apart. That's no good. Some cheap insurance is limiting straps. So limiting straps, yes, they limit your travel a little bit, but we don't want to use all of the travel anyway because our drive shaft starts binding up. So I decided to do a quick little dirty It's not a double shear. That's okay. I mean, this axle weighs a lot, but it's not like, you know, we're not desert racing this. So we have it mounted down here, and then we're gonna have it mount up here to this engine cross member. We've got them on both sides here. With those mounted up there, we should be happy. We'll be able to hit some sick jumps with this thing. Just like that. We'll have it limited. It will correct itself. All right, so it's the night shift. Surprise, same crew as the day shift. What are we working on tonight?
Exhaust.
Right. You gotta get the exhaust sorted out. At least started. Obviously we have the left bank and we have the right bank, except it's the opposite for you. And presumably I want to run full duals all the way out the rear. The issue with that is on this driver side, I have the driveline, I have the upper link mounts, I've got a bunch of stuff in the way, a transfer case. Now meanwhile, I could snake it through there, but I think there's an easier solution. That is this. My idea is that we'll take this, come across just like that, and then with that in there, like that, we'll do a little something like that. And then we can run it up, clear up the other one. And there we are. Our duals out the back, through the complicated section here. So we're using these Flowmaster Flow FX inlines or whatever. Pretty much we're gonna use these because I got them for free from my dad. He wasn't using them. And I don't think they sound half bad. We just have to figure out where to put them. But I think we're gonna have to finish this up in the morning. And then we'll go drive it. Okay, so we are back this morning. So we need to figure out where we're gonna mount the mufflers, and I think we're gonna do them further up. We're also going to do somewhat of an H pipe, but it's gonna be kind of an X pipe because it's so short. But we just need to attach these two in one spot, and then we'll run full duals out the rest of the way. Got it ran all the way back, duals right here. The other one actually comes right there too. And then they'll just both be out right there. I think it'll look pretty good. Time to weld her up. Okay, that's good. Well, that's the last of it for this side. Now we just need to do the other side, which will be a lot quicker, I think. It's time to put the drive shaft in.
It's a pretty beefy driveline.
Yeah, got the meat. It's like Arby's. So we have it to a point where we're ready to test drive it. We have the exhaust done, we have the drive shafts in, we got oil and everything, except the transmission. We have to test that when it's running. We got a fuel pump, got it put in, and the next thing to do is to fire it up.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
All right. Now is here with the fuel. I don't think this cap vents properly.
Holy moly.
All right, we ready now?
We're ready.
It's still finding itself.
Well, that's idle.
Yeah, it's way louder than I wanted it to be. That's better. I need some power steering or ATF. More? We gotta check the ATF levels, and then we'll be probably ready to test drive it. What is that? It's just power steering. Alright, so we got my power steering lines backwards into the box. So we'll gotta get them pulled off. It's gonna be messy. We're gonna get them swapped around. Okay. Here we go. Oh. Okay, start it. Keep turning. Okay, turn back. Okay, stop. Turn it off. Okay, we can go drive it like this, I think. We're going for a drive.
That's okay. But yeah, now you can actually reverse.
You wanna roll forward?
Okay, what was it?
So the knocking noise is just some shock spacers that we don't have. That's all.
And it drives pretty good. It sounds absolutely terrible.
It does. It sounds disgraceful. Ooh, it's taller than my other truck.